Long, long ago, when the world was still young and the moon shone brighter than a lantern, there was a hunter named Obadiran. He lived in the ancient village of Akano, a place surrounded by thick forests, singing streams, and red earth that glowed under the evening sun. Akano was known far and wide for its brave hunters, its wise elders, and its yearly festival of the full moon, when the people danced all night and thanked the spirits for life, food, and peace. But among all the hunters in Akano, none was as famous, or as proud, as Obadiran. He was tall and strong like the Iroko tree. His eyes were sharp as a hawk's, and when he walked through the market square, people whispered his name like a song. His hut was filled with the skulls and skins of leopards, antelopes, and wild boars, trophies of his victories. Even the king once said, if Obadiran enters the forest, the animals tremble. But pride, they say, is like a seed that grows fast and bears bitter fruit. One cool morning, when the village crier's gong was still echoing, Obadiran returned from the forest with a giant buffalo tied to a pole. The people cheered. The children danced around him. The elders praised his courage. But as the praise grew louder, so did Obadiran's pride. He lifted his voice and said, "Is there any hunter in Akano greater than me? The spirits of the forest know my name. Even Ogun, god of iron, blesses my arrows. If death itself comes to hunt, I will bring its head back to the village." The crowd fell silent. Some gasped. The oldest hunter, Baba Alujo, shook his head slowly. "Obadiran," he said, "when a man praises himself too much, the spirits begin to listen. The forest has ears." Obadiran laughed and beat his chest. "Let them listen. I fear no spirit, no oracle, no man." And with that, he walked away, leaving behind whispers that carried into the ears of the wind. A few days later, strange things began to happen. When Obadiran entered the forest, the birds stopped singing. His hunting dogs refused to follow him. And once, when he looked into a stream to drink water, his reflection smiled before he did, a moment before he even moved. Troubled, Obadiran went to the oracle of Okmera, a sacred hill where the old priestess, Aya Oromola, lived. She was a woman whose eyes looked beyond this world. When Obadiran entered the shrine, he bowed low, but his pride would not let his knees touch the earth. "Aya Oromola," he said, "I came to ask why the forest is silent when I enter. Why do my dogs fear the path I walk?" The old woman studied him with calm eyes. Then she threw cowries on the mat and began to chant softly. The wind outside sighed as if listening. After a while, she spoke. "Obadiran, son of Akano, your shadow has grown too tall. You have walked where only spirits walk. You boast of strength that belongs to the gods. Beware the next full moon. That night, the forest will test your heart. You must not hunt beneath the full moon's light, for one will come to test your pride, a spirit not of this world." Obadiran frowned. "A test? From whom?" "I fear nothing." The oracle shook her head. When a man says he fears nothing, even death becomes curious. But Obadiran laughed and dropped a pouch of cowries on the floor. "Take your payment, old mother. I will not run from shadows. If a spirit wishes to test me, let it come. I, Obadiran, will not fail." The oracle's eyes filled with sadness. "You are a great hunter," she said quietly, "but remember, no spear can pierce the wind." The days passed quickly. The moon grew fuller, rounder, brighter. The village prepared for the great festival. Drums echoed from dusk till dawn. Women painted their faces with white chalk and danced in circles. The children ran about with palm torches, shouting joyfully. But one person did not join the dance, Obadiran's wife, Monike. She was gentle and wise, known for her calm heart. She had heard what the oracle said, and fear had made her restless. That night, as she sat by the fire, she turned to her husband. "Obadiran," she said softly, "the oracle's warning still troubles me. Promise me you will not hunt tonight. Obadiran smiled and placed his hand on her shoulder. My love, the oracle speaks in riddles. The forest has fed us for years. How can the same forest harm me? But the full moon is not an ordinary moon, Monarchy said. Even the elders say spirits walk when the moon is full. He laughed. Let them walk. I will bring one home as my prize. She sighed deeply. When a man wrestles with a spirit, no one wins. But Obadiran was already sharpening his spear. When the moon climbed high into the sky that night, shining silver over the treetops, Obadiran took his bow, his arrows, and his hunting knife. His dogs howled and pulled their chains, refusing to follow. He looked at them and said, Fools! Stay here and bark at shadows. I will bring you meat that spirits themselves will envy. And with that, he walked into the forest. The path was quiet, too quiet. The crickets were silent, and even the wind refused to blow. The trees stood tall like watchers, their leaves whispering secrets he could not hear. As he moved deeper, a strange light shimmered between the trees. It was not the moonlight, it was brighter, colder, alive. Then, from the shadows, came a voice, soft and musical. Obadiran, mighty hunter of Akano, do you hunt tonight? He turned sharply. Who speaks? From behind an ancient Iroko tree stepped a woman, tall, graceful, and shining like water. Her eyes glowed like the moon, and her hair flowed like a river. She wore a white wrapper that seemed made of mist. I am Abeni, she said, smiling. A maiden of the forest. I have watched you boast to the wind. Are your words as strong as your heart? Obadiran stared, half in awe, half in suspicion. Woman, this forest is dangerous. Go home before wild beasts find you. She laughed softly, and the leaves trembled with her laughter. The beasts of this forest fear me. But tell me, hunter, do you fear me? He raised his chin. I fear no man or woman, mortal or spirit. Then prove it, she said, her eyes shining. Hunt with me tonight. If your heart is pure and your courage true, you will return to your village before dawn. But if pride rules your heart, you may never see the sunrise. Obadiran grinned. So be it. Lead the way. They walked together through the glowing forest. Strange lights danced among the trees. Sometimes Obadiran thought he saw faces in the mist, watching, smiling, whispering. Abeni moved like wind over water. No leaf bent under her feet. When she spoke, her voice echoed from every direction. After a while, she stopped and pointed. There, she said. The great white antelope. It comes only once in a lifetime. Whoever catches it will have glory beyond kings. Obadiran's heart pounded. He saw it, a magnificent creature glowing under the moonlight. Its eyes were like fire. He drew his bow. The arrow flew, but before it could strike, the antelope vanished like smoke. He gasped. What trick is this? Abeni smiled. You cannot hunt what belongs to the spirit world. He turned to her angrily. You play games, woman. Show me real prey. She looked into his eyes. The only prey left tonight, hunter, is your pride. And before he could move, the ground beneath his feet began to shake. The forest roared. The trees twisted. The moon turned blood red. Abeni's face changed, her skin glowed brighter than fire. Her eyes became like stars. She grew taller, her voice echoing like thunder. Obadiran of Akano, she said, you were warned. You mocked the oracle. You placed your name above the spirits. Now your heart will be weighed beneath the moon. Obadiran stumbled backward, his bow falling from his hand. Who are you? He cried. I am the spirit beneath the moon, the one who tests the hearts of men. He tried to run, but the trees closed around him. He lifted his spear, but it melted in his hand like wax. Mercy, he shouted. I meant no harm. The spirit's voice grew softer, sadder. When pride builds a wall, even mercy cannot enter. Before Obadiran could speak, the ground beneath him opened, and he fell into darkness. When Obadiran opened his eyes, he was no longer in the forest. He was standing in a strange place, half light, half shadow. The sky above him glowed red, and the earth below shimmered like glass. He looked around and saw two paths, one shining like gold, the other dark like charcoal. Between them stood an old man wearing white cloth and holding a wooden staff. The man smiled. Welcome, hunter of Akana. You walk in the place between life and spirit. I am Baba Ajaneku, the keeper of choices. Obadiran bowed slightly. Old father, what is this place? The man pointed at the golden path. That way lies peace, but you must leave your pride behind. He pointed at the dark path. That way lies glory, but it ends in emptiness. Obadiran frowned. Why must I choose? Can I not keep my pride and still have peace? The old man laughed softly. Can a man carry fire in one hand and water in the other? One will always fall. Obadiran sighed. He looked down at his hands. In one hand appeared his hunting spear, strong and sharp. In the other appeared a small clay bowl filled with water. Baba Ajaneku said, the spear is your pride. The water is your soul. You may keep only one. Obadiran's heart pounded. If I drop the spear, I lose what makes me who I am. The old man replied, and if you drop the water, you lose what keeps you alive. Tears filled Obadiran's eyes. Slowly, he let the spear fall. It broke into dust before it touched the ground. The water in the bowl began to glow, and a voice whispered. When a man lays down his pride, his spirit becomes whole. The old man smiled and raised his staff. Your heart has chosen well. Now return, and... Obadiran gasped and opened his eyes. He was back in the forest, lying beside the sacred pool. Abeni was standing beside him, smiling softly. You have walked a path few mortals survive, she said. Your pride was your chain. Now you are free. He rose slowly, feeling lighter, not weaker, but wiser. He bowed deeply. Spirit of the forest, I thank you. She touched his forehead gently. Go back to your people, Obadiran. Tell them the forest does not hate pride, it only teaches humility. And just like that, she faded into light, leaving only the sound of wind and water. Obadiran looked around. His spear lay broken. His dog's distant barking reached his ears. The forest no longer felt hostile, it felt alive, whispering, breathing, welcoming. He turned toward the village, ready to go home. Back in Akana, Monarchy waited by the fire all night. She listened for the sound of Obadiran's footsteps, but only the wind answered. By morning, the villagers gathered. Hunters searched the forest, calling his name. They found his bow near the river, his spear beside a tree, but no trace of Obadiran. For 7 days, they searched. On the 7th day, the oracle spoke again. Do not seek him, Aya Oromila said. He walks now between worlds. When the moon shines full again, the forest will tell his story. So the people waited. A month later, on another full moon night, Monarchy sat outside her hut, staring at the sky. Tears filled her eyes as the drums of the festival began to play once more. Then she heard it, a faint voice calling her name. Monarchy. She turned. There, at the edge of the forest, stood Obadiran. His clothes were torn, his body thin, his eyes glowing faintly like moonlight. She ran to him, crying. You are alive. He smiled weakly. I walked far, beyond the world of men. I saw what I should not see. She held him and led him home. But Obadiran was not the same. He no longer boasted. He spoke softly, and when he passed the oracle's shrine, he bowed low and placed food there every month. People came to ask him what happened that night. He would only say, "The forest showed me myself. And I was smaller than I thought." Years passed. Obadiran grew old. His hair turned white. The villagers began to call him Baba Oba, the wise one. One evening, as he sat by the fire with the children of the village, they begged him to tell the story of the spirit beneath the moon. He smiled and began to speak. "Children, listen well. Pride is like smoke, it rises high but disappears quickly. The forest does not hate the hunter, but it will humble the one who forgets who gives the prey. When the oracle warns you, listen. When the spirit whispers, obey. Because no matter how brave you are, you cannot wrestle the wind." As he spoke, the full moon rose again, round, bright, watching. A soft breeze blew through the village, and the flames of the fire bent toward him. Then Obadiran smiled, closed his eyes, and whispered, "Abeni." And when the villagers looked again, he was gone. Only his footprints remained, glowing faintly in the moonlight, leading toward the forest. And so the elders say, when pride enters a man's heart, wisdom flies away. A hunter may chase a beast, but who can chase his own shadow? The forest keeps the secrets of those who mock the gods. He who listens to warning, saves his life, he who mocks it, digs his grave. From that day, the people of Akano never hunted beneath the full moon again. When the moon rose round and white, they stayed home, told stories, and thanked the spirits for mercy. And when children asked why, their mothers would smile and say, "Because once, a hunter named Obadiran defied the oracle, and the spirit beneath the moon taught him the cost of pride." Many generations later, travelers who pass through the forest of Akano say that on nights when the moon is full, a faint figure walks among the trees, tall, calm, carrying a bow that glows with silver light. He is not feared. The animals do not run from him. They say he watches over the forest, protecting it from those who enter with arrogance in their hearts. And if you ever find yourself deep in the woods under a shining moon, and you feel a soft wind on your face, remember, the forest is listening. Please let us know where you are watching from, leave a comment below, we love to hear from you. Please like the video and share with your family and friends. Please also subscribe to this channel so we can bring more videos to you. Thanks for being part of us.